Olá, pessoal! When you wanna know a person's name, do you ask qual é o teu nome or qual é o seu nome? Teu or seu? Which one's correct? Welcome back to Plain Portuguese, where you learn once and for all when to use teu, seu, tua, sua, and speak like a Brazilian. If this is your first time around, consider subscribing to the channel and catch up on the lessons you have missed. First of all, when you open a grammar book, these are the subject pronouns you will find. Eu, tu, ele, ela. Nós, vós, eles, elas. Tu, Bia. Yes, tu. Tu is equivalent to you. Second person singular. Tu has its own verb forms, possessive pronouns, but in Brazil, tu is used in a few places and only a small number of speakers use tu with the grammatically correct verb forms. The vast majority of Brazilians don't even use tu. We use você instead, but Bia, você is not even on the list. I know it's not. Technically, você is not a subject pronoun, but it behaves like one. It's equivalent to you. Second person singular. Unlike tu, você doesn't have its own verb forms. It doesn't have its own possessive pronouns. Você borrows everything from ele and ela. Você borrows their verb forms and possessive pronouns. Well, since we're talking about subject pronouns, don't forget that vós, equivalent to you all, second person plural, is virtually extinct in Brazil, being replaced by vocês, which, by the way, borrows verb forms, possessive pronouns from eles and elas. Well, these are the official subject pronouns, the ones you will find in grammar books, and these are the ones used by most Brazilians. Now the fun part starts. Let's see what happens between these two, huh? Take a look at these questions. Tu compraste o teu carro no ano passado? Você comprou o seu carro no ano passado? Tu gostas da tua casa? Você gosta da sua casa? Beautiful sentences, grammatically accurate with the correct verb form, possessive pronoun. Tu, teu, tua. Você, seu, sua. But colloquially, this is what happens. Você borrows, may borrow, the second person possessive pronouns, but not the verb forms. No. Você borrows, may borrow, the second person possessive pronouns. I said colloquially. Yeah, this is what happens. In other words, I would say this is grammatically incorrect, but colloquially instead of. Você comprou o seu carro no ano passado? You may hear. Você comprou o teu carro no ano passado? Instead of. Você gosta da sua casa? You may hear. Você gosta da tua casa? Some other examples. Ele é seu irmão? Or, ele é teu irmão? Ela é sua irmã? Ela é tua irmã? Bia, it's confusing. So stick to the grammatically correct option. Yes, você, seu, sua. But we, when speaking, may not. Yes. Now let's see what happens here. Você, ele, ela. Well, você, ele, ela share the same verb forms and possessive pronouns. Sometimes there are no problems at all, as in, você trouxe o seu filho. I know that seu is referring to você. Ah, você trouxe o seu filho. Ontem o André me visitou e trouxe o seu gato. Now I know that seu is referring to André. Yes, he brought his cat. Ontem o André me visitou e trouxe o seu gato. Ontem a Noeli me visitou e trouxe o seu cachorro. Ontem a Noeli me visitou e trouxe o seu cachorro. So Noeli has a dog and she brought her dog. The context says it all. It's not confusing. Yeah? Now, some other times sharing the same possessive pronouns may present some problems. It may create some ambiguity. Yeah? Let's see a few examples. Oi, Márcio. Você sabia que o André vendeu seu carro? O carro de quem? Whose car? Now it's not clear from the context if André sold his car or Márcio's car. Whose car was sold? Yeah? To prevent this from happening, you will need to rephrase this somehow. One way is by using dele or dela. Oi, Márcio. Você sabia que o André vendeu o carro dele? Que bom! So now I know that André sold his car and not Márcio's car. Oi, Márcio. Você sabia que a Noeli vendeu o carro dela? Que bom! So Noeli sold her car and not Márcio's car. Well, I'll leave below the link to a lesson where I explain the use of dele, dela with other examples. Bia, what if André sold Márcio's car? Remember that colloquially, grammatically incorrect, but colloquially, you can use teu, tua, meaning your. Voila! Oi, Márcio, você sabia que o André vendeu teu carro? O quê? Porque ele vendeu o meu carro. Yeah, so now it's clear from the context whose car was sold. Oi, Márcio, você sabia que a Noeli vendeu o teu carro? Again. O quê? Porque ela vendeu o meu carro. It's clear from the context that Noeli didn't sell her car, but Márcio's car. Why is everybody selling Márcio's cars? How many cars does he have? Well, the alternative I showed you with teu, tua are colloquial. If you want to speak accurately and avoid ambiguity, then you should make some other adjustments. For example, Oi, Márcio. O seu carro foi vendido. Quem vendeu o meu carro? O André vendeu o seu carro. So now o seu only makes reference to Márcio's car because of the context, yeah? Now it's clear whose car was sold. So again, Oi, Márcio. O seu carro foi vendido. Quem vendeu o meu carro? O André vendeu seu carro. Okay. So which question is correct? Qual é o teu nome? Qual é o seu nome? Or it depends? It depends. Gostaram da aula de hoje? Obrigada por assistirem a mais uma aula e até a próxima. Tchau!